All right. Welcome, BallHer Hoops fans. This is Coach Holt here again with BallHer Hoops, coming back at you with the live version or recorded version, I should say, of our episode about the Lady Charger Shootout. Great event. I want to thank Coach for having us there. It was actually a great event, well ran, good competition, a lot of good talent. Saw some talent I hadn't seen before. So that's what makes events good. We'll be just covering a little bit of things and try to get as much info about the tournament out as possible. Coach Gibson's here with me. So we'll start with Coach Gibson. Give me your top upperclassmen that you saw this week, this Monday, Tuesday.
There was a lot of talent out there, Coach. A lot of kids we've seen, for years actually. But I was really impressed with. Since you asked for just three, I was really impressed with Aaliyah L. She would probably be one of the first ones that come to mind. She played with 101 Red. She had some bright, some bright spots in day one. In that tough game against Cannon. Really played really well down the stretch. I think she just ran out of gas, man. They played a lot of back-to-back games. She had a decent day on Saturday. The second day as well. I thought she really showed how she can defend at a high level, something that was really impressive. I've seen nobody in the entire country be able to get in front of Samaya Suffering when she's downhill and turning the corner. And she was able to, stay in front of that kid maybe once or twice and really made her change direction. And that was something that was really impressive from the defensive side of the ball. I also liked Ariana Prairie. She played with Cox Mills. I think the growth that I saw in her was she was just kind of doing everything. The first game that I watched with Cox Mills, she had maybe a stretch where she had like 4 or 5 rebounds, both ends for her team. It was kind of just doing whatever to help her team be successful. Layla Hankerson is my third one. She really caught my eye playing with a young team. Coming off a state championship at Rock Hill, and now, going back to Country Day, seeing her with a lot of younger kids, really composed. The leadership was there, really stood out. And when it was time to be aggressive, she was just that. So those are kind of my three that really caught my eye, that were a lot different from what we've seen, in the spring period.
All right. So I didn't do top three, but I got a list of girls, and those three players that you mentioned were on my list. I think Layla really showed her growth from when she was last at Country Day to now. It's a night and day difference. Just because of the composure she has now is amazing. But I'm going to start with Kirsten Lewis. If there's one player that every time I see her, I'm impressed, but it's just like seeing her live and then close and even coaching against her, it's just like, man, she does so much. I was looking at the stats that the coach put up, and like the bigger the game was, she led in every stat. Every stat she led in. And it's just, she's a really good player. I think she's going to be good for them this season. Samaya Suffering had a great week. I think she's going to be really good for Cannon this year. I know her main goal is state championship and nothing else. Delaney Hill was a monster this week. She was lights out against Cannon and against Lake Norman. She had some big shots as well. Watched those. Well, was a part of one of the games. I watched the other one. But I have about 2 or 3 more. Maya McCorkle. Maya McCorkle was a beast to the basket. All these last 2 days, she was a beast. Can't leave out Ella Hobbs. Ella Hobbs, while we may not see the pure dominance that a lot of people expect, a lot of times she's double team, triple team. They're trying to throw the kitchen sink at her, but she still never really shows emotion, and she keeps playing hard. And then I had Alyssa Lewis and Cherie Gidney. Alyssa Lewis is a lights out shooter. It's like you see her coming down the court and you don't be thinking, oh, she about to pull up. And she's going to pull up. If she gets somewhere 2 to 3 feet away from that 3-point line, she's going to light up.
I was super impressed with Alyssa, man. She was one of the kids on my list. Tried to keep it at 3, man. She was very impressive both days, man. One thing I noticed about her is her growth as far as her composure. You know what I mean? She didn't pull it as quickly as she has in film in the past, and that was something that was really impressive. Delaney Hill, the one you mentioned, man, she was impressive. She's 2025 though, correct?
24.
24, yo. She was awesome. The game she had against Cannon, man, I mean, she made some big shots down the stretch. She had a tough guard, a tough check with somebody hit, with somebody suffering, but, you know, she stayed composed. I was impressed with her, too.
And one more person that I got on my list, Lily Booker. Her day one was amazing. I don't know if many people saw how a lot of times Samaya's off the ball and Lily's on the ball, and Lily does such a great job getting her teammates involved, and then she plays lockdown defense. So I have to put her on the list because she steps up in so many different ways. Yesterday, she hit a lot of jump shots, made some good plays, even fought through the injuries. So had to put her on that list as well. So give me sophomores and under.
All right, I got one more. One more. I like Zaria Gould too yesterday.
Okay.
I watched her in the Lake Norman game. As great as Kristen Lewis is, she's a great kid, man. She accepted that matchup and really affected the game. And I saw a lot from her yesterday that I didn't see from day one. That was really impactful for that one-on-one Red team. So definitely shout out to her as well.
I didn't get to see her on day 2. I know day 1. I've seen her play before, so I know that she's very talented. But I didn't get to see her on day 2. And day 1, I think she was kind of getting into the mix because, of course, they're new to the team and
right,
exactly how you fit. So
exactly.
Yeah. Sophomores and under, the Young Bucks. Who you got?
Oh man, I only seen this kid on film, and so seeing Addie Seriani in person, she was getting girls on her hip, and I mean, she was making whatever she wanted to do after she got you on that hip offensively. She just did what she wanted. I was super impressed with her. She was very unselfish, knew when to be aggressive offensively, defended at a high value, moved her feet, great footwork. I like the kid, man. She was very impressive.
I want to say one thing about Eddie, because a lot of people don't recognize this. I think she's an underrated defender. Like, a lot of people don't see the defensive part that she does. And at times in the game versus Canada, she was guarding somebody suffering. And I mean, she was really guarding, like, accepting that challenge. And, you know, Samaya's a ACC player. So to accept that challenge, I really give a shout out to her for that.
Right. And that's something that I did notice about her yesterday as well. I might have mentioned it that, like, she had some tough matchups and different types of matchups in front of her, and she could handle them all and knew how to defend them. Very high IQ on the defensive side of the ball, something that, like you say, really didn't stand out, but it did stand out yesterday. I'm expecting bigger things from her now, just seeing it live and in person. Just seems like a selfish kid, just unemotional. She had a Tim Duncan kind of swag with it. She was just scoring and just next play. Was not too emotional in it. She had some big shots and it was just like it was nothing. So very impressive. Another kid, Brooke Busby, 2027 kid. It was the swag for me, man. She was just poised. She had the bump gum in. She was on those toes defensively. Really impressed me in the Lake Norman game down the stretch. You guys had Samaya and Lily on the bench. Her and the other young kid came in, and I mean, they were productive, hard fought in those moments. Got the game back where it needed to be, actually. So I'm really impressed with her. And then Mallard Creek had 2 studs with Olivia Robinson and that freshman point guard they got. We were talking about plays for PSB. She was aggressive, set the tone defensively. I mean, she had some matchups all day for a freshman PG. You know what I mean? And she definitely had, did her thing, man. But Olivia Robinson looked really great, looked unstoppable down low, soft hands, finished everything, rebound, outlet it well, put it on the floor a few times. She was definitely amazing as well.
Right. So I got my first one. I'm going with Jamara Cherry, who's recently reclassed to the class of 2025. If it's a player that does a lot for a team, she does a lot. She helps and she can guard all five positions. She rebounds well, shoots the ball well, attacks the basket, and offensive boards. Versus Country Day, she was a monster versus Country Day. A lot of offensive rebound points. I got Alyssa and Elena Hankerson. Those two twins, they're going to speed you up. They're going to make plays. They're going to be vocal. I love their game. The other eighth grader at Cannon, Madison Drayton, saw a lot from her, especially defensively. At a point in time, she decided that she wanted to guard the best player on the court against Lake Norman, and that was Cassidy Gaddis. I mean, not Cassidy Gaddis. I always do that too. Kirsten Lewis. She accepted that challenge, which is big for eighth grader guarding an upcoming senior. It's just kind of mind blowing that you even try to take that challenge. And then for one-on-one prep, Molly Malcolm was lights out this whole week. She was a shooter, had the braids, number 24. Really loved her game, especially if she's an incoming ninth grader. Then Camry Hobbs is a name that a lot of people need to know. She's a 6'2" guard that can handle the ball and can shoot the lights out. She did really good this week. I think she really impressed me more than I've seen in previous times because I've seen her doing handling the ball well, but I think the way that she's shooting the ball now is what's more impressive. So that was my Young Bucks, and of course I had Olivia Robertson and Addie Sirianni and Brooke Busby. Brooks one of those kids that just her swag is gonna take her so far because I've seen it in practice and I've seen it in workouts and things like that. The girl's got so much potential that it's going to be scary.
Right. He definitely believes in her, man. I love it. Love it. Love it.
She's a lights out shooter too. She will pull it up from deep. So as she grows, I want to see that progress. So I did stock up. I'll go first on the stock up. I just put two kids that I really thought stock, even though some of these kids already have high stock, but this kid, I feel like her stock should be up and she's having a good July. Kirsten Lewis, even though I said she's one of my top 3 players, a lot of people outside of our Charlotte area need to know about this kid. She should be on a higher level. I know she's playing on the Under Armour circuit, but she should be receiving letters like today because, she just does so much. I don't think it's many players that do as much as she does for a team. My second player was the point guard from Hickory Ridge, Erica McClary. I watched a little bit of the one-on-one prep versus Hickory Ridge game, and she hit a lot of big-time threes to try to keep them in that game. And she does a lot on defense, too. She straps up, and she accepts challenges. So I really like that kid. And those are my 2 for the stock up. Did you have anybody for a stock up?
Yes. Kelsey Ryan.
Okay.
I thought she had a great, showing with that team. I think she's going to be learning a lot. I could see growth in the games that she had. And I think it's going to be beneficial for her when she goes back to July. I just think it was a good experience. I look forward to seeing them in the UNCC event. And the second one is a kid I mentioned earlier, Aaliyah L. I just think that, she was finding her way yesterday. We were able to have a good conversation. I liked what I heard from her as far as where her mindset was. She was locked into the matchups, locked into the challenges, really intentional about her game. So I think that's the kid we're gonna see their stock rise up in July as well.
Yep, I see that. And I don't know how I miss Kelsey Ryan. I don't know why. She's definitely one of the top underclassmen. The girl has no conscience. Coach from Lake Norman, I suck at names, so I'm not going to try to name. But she was like, we were playing, and she was like, no, Kelsey, that's a bad shot. And Kelsey hit a step back 3, and it was just like, I guess when you got that type of mindset it's like one of those good and bad things, but she's definitely one of those players to watch out for.
Right.
Top 5 teams. I got Cannon 101 White. Cannon went 5-1. I think 101 White went 5-1. 101 Red, I think they were 4-2, if I'm not mistaken. Lake Norman, I think they were 5-1, but someone told me that Country Day beat them, but I don't know how true it is. And then I had Country Day as well, because Country Day fought with every team, and for them to be that small, like their starting lineup is all guards. And shout out to, I know I've mentioned the twins and Layla, but another 2 guards, Margaret Blythe and Sam, I don't know her last name, but those 2 guards are just as good. They play well together, and they move the ball, and they play scrappy defense. Even though they're smaller, they still get after it. So those are my top 5 teams.
All right, so my top 5, man. I think Lake Norman did go 5-1. I'm not mistaken. I had them really one of my top teams.
Yeah.
I think everything that came with them, me and Coach Parkins was talking, and he was like, that schedule that they played, I mean, everything was thrown at them, and they pretty much handled it pretty composed, played every game. They were consistent. Defensively, I was impressed with how all the teams executed offensively for June. Let me say that. Cannon is in my top 5 again. How they executed, their full court execution when teams started to get in pressure was definitely impressive. Country Day is also in there. I think I named everybody you named, Coach.
Yeah.
Country Day is definitely in there. I thought 101 Prep, I tied them together. I tied both of their programs together. I think they did have a great show on both teams. They had bright spots. I thought everybody looked pretty good. One team was really good at moving the ball. Another team was really good at creating defensive havoc and getting down and putting the ball on the floor. Lastly, my 5th team is kind of a team that didn't win a lot of games, but they played awesome every game. And I'm going to say Mallet Creek, they were young, good. I liked the way they brought it. I liked they were scrappy. They would be down with a running clock. They were down like 10, 12, 2 occasions, and they brought that thing all the way down about 4 points. So they're not going to be an easy out. They were always like that. Coach Katie's a scrappy person. Love that about her. So those were my 5.
All right. I like that Mallet Creek team there. So my next thing was the teams who record may not show their potential, and I actually had them in there because I think they have a solid group because they're missing a big piece. I think her name is Layla Toscano, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Layla Toscano. Get well.
Yeah,
Coach, thinking about you.
Get well. If she's back in the fold, I think they're going to be really solid. And another team I had was Hickory Ridge. Hickory Ridge, between them, Lake Norman and Cox Mill, Morrisville, that's going to be another tough conference battle. They had a really tough conference battle last year, but Hickory Ridge just seems like they're more poised this year than they were last year. I didn't get a chance to see that last Hickory Ridge versus Lake Norman game, so I really don't know who won, so it's really an assumption. But I think those 3 teams in that conference are going to be solid. Did you have a team for that potential list?
Well, I will say this. I thought the T.W. Andrews team from the first day, they had a lot of young kids, a lot of young pieces. You can tell those are kids trying to figure it out with a new coach. And so at the end of the day, I thought they were really had some pieces and potential down the road. You can really see Country Day is like one piece away. I think I said that to somebody when I was watching them. Like, yo, they're one piece away from being really dynamic and special. And then also a team that didn't, put a lot of points on the board, West Charlotte. I watched them, really about 4 good games, and they got better from day 1 to day 2. And they also added a freshman, little Kiki. She played at Ranson, and she was special. In that back gym first game, she came on the floor a little nervous, got a bucket. So I saw some potential in that team that, they got some size. So I can see them being really good down the road. I think, and you hit it on the head with Hickory Ridge too. They're going to be, man, that conference in itself. Peace and blessings to all of you. It's going to be really good. It's going to be really special to watch every night. I don't think we've seen Lake Norman at their best. It's going to be scary how good they can get because they looked really good. So the potential is through the roof.
Yeah, they were still missing. I don't want to say her name wrong either, but her last name is Marks. Solid player that they really depend on, and got good size for a player in their conference. So, last name, 3 things you learned from this shootout.
I think coach number one is one thing that I thought again, the offensive side of the ball. A lot of our teams are really sharp. I think I said it to myself a little funnier earlier. I said you could tell coaches really miss their kids right now. Everybody's executing. You can see a lot of what I like to call love. The ball was moving. So I learned that a lot of these schools and programs are teaching kids the game the right way. A lot of excessive dribbling offensively. So that's what I was impressed with. I also learned that it's going to be really tough in that Concord area. A lot of talent, between Cannon, Hickory Ridge, Cox Mills. We didn't see West Cabarrus, but Coach Delana keeps something over there. Hickory Ridge. They have a lot of talent in that area that I think people need to start paying attention to.
And West Cabarrus, Ashley Shaw is back. I'm gonna say that.
Yeah, I already know. I'm already knowing that she's hungry. And then lastly, I would say, man, we have some talented young kids that can really play. That 2025 class, 2024s with Delaney Hill, all the ice in her veins yesterday. The Seriani kid. It was so many impressive young talented kids whose IQ, we talk privately and we talk about the effect of IQ and COVID on the IQ and stuff like that. And it was great to see the IQ starting to come back. People really teaching these kids how to execute.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. I agree. I think my 3 things, the first one is that teams that communicate win. When you look at the teams that were winning a lot of games, those were the ones that were communicating. They were talking, whether it be like defensively on the bench. Energy is contagious. I think that's one of the biggest things that if you're a player, especially a young player, pay attention to some of the teams that were winning or that are winning a lot of games. Watch their energy. When they're down, watch their energy. When they're up, watch their energy, because that could be the difference in the next level of where you want to be, because a lot of the people don't understand how energy affects you. Because if I'm mad and sad because we're down, then of course our energy is going to feed to others, especially if you're a leader. Point guards. Man, we had the point guards at this event, and it was a tough group. Whether you're talking about Delaney Hill, Layla Hankerson, I think Kirsten's considered a point guard. Addie's a point guard. Samaya and Lily Booker are both good point guards to me. I don't want to miss out on anybody, but it was so many good guards at this event that it showed. And those teams that had the better guards really stood out. And last, similar to what you said, I think the girls' basketball game is in good hands. We have a good youth. Our youth is really good. And I think that when this younger generation gets to like 11th and 12th grade, it's going to be another good year for basketball. So that's all we got today. I appreciate everybody that's listening and supporting. Coach, you'll be probably at UNCC this week. I know UNCC has. Yep, UNCC got it. I think Queens is having something as well. I've heard of an event Thursday, but I ain't no person that's gonna be relaying information. If they are there, it's gonna be a lot of good basketball going on this week. So everybody Appreciate you guys again. BallHer Hoops. We out.